Hi, folks. Today we're going to take a look at the Siberian tiger, where he was in a Zoom court hearing over a $55 parking ticket. And well, not only does he show his misunderstanding of the law, but he goes even as far as to try to threaten the judge. But before we start today's video, as always, a big thank you to all of my current and new channel members and subscribers. Without your guys' continuous ongoing support, I couldn't keep this channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the page. Leave a like and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. Please consider becoming a member. And don't forget to check out the new podcast we have. The first episode's up right now. It's the Craptown Florida Man Power Ranking, where you guys get to decide in the comments section on either your favorite story, and all of it gets tallied up to prove who is the bigger crap. The shit towns of Australia, or Florida Man and his shenanigans. With all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
The trials. I believe the first one was Mr. Leonid Krivolenko. Hi, Leonid. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Good morning, Judge.
Can you raise your right hand so I can get you under oath? You and the officer need to be under oath. Okay. You both solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury.
I do, Your Honor.
I affirm.
Okay. And say your last name for me, sir.
Krivolenko.
Thank you. So how these trials work, Mr. Krivolenko, is I first hear from the officer. She needs to establish that she validly issued you and accurately issued you that ticket. And then I'll let you ask her any questions you have and tell me your side of the story, sir. Okay, do you have any questions?
Not yet.
All right, go ahead, Officer Cochran.
This is actually Officer Parley, Your Honor. So good morning. My name is Officer Parley. I am employed by the City of Portland as a parking code enforcement officer and was so employed on May 20th, 2024. While on routine foot patrol at approximately 9:03 a.m., I observed a Toyota with the Washington license plate Bravo Echo Victor Bravo 61 in a mail zone on the west side of Southwest 1st Street between Main and Madison, which is on public property in the City of Portland, County of Multnomah, State of Oregon. At this time, I issued citation Hotel Alpha 37276768 for mail zone under City Ordinance 16.10.050. I also do have 4 pictures which accompany this citation.
Right off the bat, this just seems like a standard ticket. I mean, you parked in a zone where you're not supposed to park, you know. There are clearly distinguishing factors that we are all taught when we get our driver's licenses, that you can't park in front of fire hydrants, you can't park in front of a red zone, and you can't park in front of a sign that says that you can't be there. Now, instead of doing the mature national thing, saying, okay, I made a mistake and I want to pay my ticket, the Siberian douche canoe here seems to take this as an affront to him not being able to do what he wants. So let's see how he handles this.
Would you like to show those pictures now?
Whenever you like, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do that now.
Okay. My computer is extremely slow, so I apologize, but I'm getting into the pictures right now.
Mr. Krivolenko, have you seen these photos that the officer took?
No, I have not.
All right, you're going to see them now in just a moment.
Okay, so all right. This is the first photo. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it now. What
Your
is
Honor, this is a photo of the defendant's.
Oh, it disappeared.
Yeah.
Sorry. I apologize. Let me. Oh, my computer is not working. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
So this is a photograph of the defendant's windshield showing there's no kind of placard or permit stating that they can park in the mail zone.
All right, we can see the next photo. All right, this is photo 2, and what is this, officer?
This is a photo of the actual sign. You will see in a later picture how it is positioned in relation to the vehicle.
And the plot thickens!
Okay, we can see the next photo. This is
That is
number,
a picture verifying the license plate that the citation was given to.
all right, the next photo. Okay,
And there is a photograph of the actual vehicle showing there is no signage on the vehicle stating that it is a parking, excuse me, that it is a postal vehicle.
okay.
And there is one showing the relationship of the vehicle to the sign. So that it was parked in full view of the sign when it chose to park there.
I mean, this is a slam dunk case. How can you argue it? The officer is correct. There is no placard showing that he has a permit to park there. There's no indications that his vehicle is a U.S. postal vehicle meant to pick up packages or large amounts of mail to deliver around the city. And he's parked clearly in front of the sign that says no parking, U.S. Postal Service. He knows he can't be there. He took the driving test to get his license, so he should know what that sign means because they give you that information in the booklets or in the PDFs that you can download from your local DMVs to understand these things.
All right, and do you have any objection, Mr. Krivolenko, to me looking at those and considering them in my decision, sir?
Well, there's no material objections to the pictures. The pictures are fine. I'm not objecting to the pictures.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and admit all of those pictures into evidence. Did you have anything else, officer, before I hear from the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may go ahead, sir. Did you want to ask her questions or just tell me your side of the story?
Of course.
Hold on to your butts.
Officer Parley, what building was my vehicle allegedly parked next to? You said mail zone. Which building?
It's parked in front of a mail zone sign, sir. I'm not sure of the name of the building that it was parked in front of, but I know the post office runs a part of their business out of it. I do not know the name of the building.
Okay. So the post office, are you referring to the U.S. Post Office Service?
That is what the sign says, sir, that it's you cannot park there unless you are a U.S. postal vehicle. It's a U.S. mail zone.
That's not what I asked. I'm asking you
I'm sorry,
specifically.
sir.
That is not what I asked. So
Okay,
listen,
please do ask the question again. I didn't understand it.
I'm going to specifically asking you.
What is the
The
question, sir?
The pictures you've admitted as evidence
Yes?
was my vehicle allegedly parked next to a U.S. Postal Service building.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Sir, no. It says it's a park next to a sign that says you must be a U.S. postal vehicle to park there. It has nothing to do
Again,
with the
ma'am,
building.
I'm going to interrupt you again. Listen very carefully what I asked.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which U.S. postal sign does that building belong to?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so
I
if you
just
don't
follow the
know,
signs.
so let me ask you this question. Before you issued that citation, should you have verified whether or not you had the authority to even issue a parking citation for that zone?
Shenanigans.
Na 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 na
Shenanigans.
na 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 na.
And we're calling shenanigans, folks, because the simple fact of the matter is this. She does have authority to issue him a citation for being parked in a no parking zone on a public roadway. Just because he thinks the sign and the fact that it belongs to the U.S. Postal Service and it's in front of a post office makes it federal property and she doesn't have the jurisdiction to do so is wrong. That same logic can be applied to a private business then. So if a private business owner put in front of a public roadway a no parking sign when there is actually valid street parking, that would not hold up in court. Neither is his argument.
No, sir, because I have authority to deal with any of the parking signs within the city of Portland. I am a sworn parking enforcement officer. I follow what the signage says. So,
Maybe so.
to my knowledge, I was sworn in to uphold those signs.
So that building, as a matter of fact, on the lower level, and that section belongs to U.S. Postal Service, which is federal property, which makes you a person with no jurisdiction or authority as an employee of the city of the Portland, Oregon, to issue any citations in that zone or operate as an officer in that zone, period. That's your
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
first issue that we need to raise. Issue of jurisdiction.
I'm
You agree?
leaving this all up to the judge, sir. I have no say in the matter.
Well, you say no, you're the issuing officer. You have no say in the offer.
I have no say.
So
in
I'm
what
going to
she's-
interrupt you there, Mr. Krivolenko. So as I explained in the beginning, how these trials work is you first ask questions of the officer. It sounds like you're done asking questions and you're ready
No,
to your side
that's
of
not what
the
I said. I'm not done. I never said that I'm done asking questions. I'm continuing to ask questions and
I
raise
don't
my
hear any
argument.
questions. I hear statements, sir. So if you're going to ask a question, it needs to be a question, not a statement.
Sure, because my questions are not being answered. They're being avoided. So again,
Why don't you
Officer
just tell
Parley.
your side of the story, Mr. Krivolenko?
No, Judge, I apologize for interrupting you, but you are not going to deny my due process. When I'm
The due
finished with my
process to ask
question,
questions is
Well,
happening
then-
right now.
don't interrupt me and don't state on my
I
behalf. that
will
I have
interrupt you,
questions.
sir, if you don't ask questions and make statements. So I know,
Well,
let
let's
me
move-
ask you this, Mr. Krivolenko. Let's take a break here. Are you a lawyer? Are you
Yes,
a
pro
lawyer?
se, ma'am. I'm
You
representing
licensed to
myself.
practice law, sir?
I'm pro se.
Pro se. Okay, so you don't have a law degree?
Do I need to be?
No,
Do
sir,
I
but
need to have a lawyer's degree to be a pro se, ma'am?
Nobody is saying you need a law degree to be pro se. You're right, as you have the right to represent yourself or have somebody who is of sound mind and judgment do it for you. But she's asking, do you have a law degree? Because you're making legal arguments that a lawyer would make. You have no basis of factual statements, no case law, no precedents, nothing that shows that she can't issue a citation for being parked illegally in front of a post office. Now, you're letting that hot-blooded temper of yours end up getting you in a sticky situation. But what can we expect from the Siberian kitten cat here?
no,
Judge,
sir, but I just want to make sure because I'm going to give you a little more leniency with the rules if you don't have a law degree. So I'm going to allow you to make statements and ask questions at the same time if you're not a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, then I do need to keep you strictly following the protocol of first asking questions and then making statements. That's how it works.
well, my question hasn't been answered. So let me reinstate my question and probably ask it in a little bit different way.
Sure.
Officer Parley,
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
is there a U.S. Postal Service on the first level of that entire building, on that street?
I don't
locally?
know, sir. I assume so. I've never been in the building. I am just following the sign.
Have you ever prior to that date walked by that building and see that there is postal vehicles in that area? That there
There's postal vehicles in that zone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that sign specifically indicates that this is a mail zone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then presumption of that would be that it is a postal office or postal station, and that postal station is belonging to and is under the control of U.S. Postal Service.
I'm
Yes?
sorry, I had to sneeze. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir, I agree with all of that. That is a statement that you're making, and yes,
So,
I'm not
so then,
denying
no,
that.
that's not a statement. I was asking you a question.
What
So
what's
you
the
agree?
question? I'm not sure what the question is, other than for
I
me.
heard her say she agrees with you, sir. You can move to the
Okay,
next
so
question.
great. So that establishes this fact, and you agree that that area is under the control of the federal government, specifically the agency of U.S. Postal Service. You agree?
Wrong!
No, sir, I don't agree. I don't know. I only follow the signs. I am not a judge. Please stop
Okay.
asking me questions I cannot answer.
If you're telling me you're following the signs, which you clearly right now, I'm assuming you do not understand, correct?
Sir, I understand your questions. What I'm saying is it's not my jurisdiction to parse out what is what.
Thank
I'll
you.
follow what the
Thank you for
sign
the answer.
says.
We have clearly established, and you agree, it is not your jurisdiction, correct?
No, that's not what she said. She is allowed to enforce the parking signs. That's no different than her being able to enforce the sign in front of the post office or from a fire hydrant or invalid or expired parking meter. Your argument is making no sense. You're trying to argue that just because it's a post office, it now changes that whole property area into federal property? It doesn't work that way. You don't understand the law. You really should have gotten a lawyer on this one. But instead, you've gone down the road of all frauditors and sovereign citizens and representing yourself pro se in an action that you should have just paid the fucking fine for.
No, I did not agree with that, sir. I don't know. I follow the signs. I feel
She's
like
already
you are.
answered the question, Mr.
Yeah.
Krivolenko. She does not know. Next question.
Okay. So, next question is, you issued this citation under the city code 16.10.050, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
Have you read that code before issuing the citation?
Sir, it comes up automatically when I issue the citation.
That is not what I asked. I asked, have you read the code of that
Yes, sir,
particular
previously,
code?
but I could not quote it for you.
Okay. Let me rephrase my question, because I don't think you understood it again, and you're again dodging that question.
I'm not
Prior to
dodging it,
issuing the
sir.
citation, listen carefully to my question
Yes,
and don't
sir.
interrupt me. Listen carefully before I finish the question, then you answer it. Prior to issuing that citation, on the date of the issue of the citation, 05/20/24, have you read the city code 16.10?
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. She's
050.
already answered that question, and you're not allowed to repeat questions. She already answered that she read it, but she could not quote it to you. Next question.
Okay, so let's look at that citation and let's look at the code 16.10.050. It reads, it is unlawful for a pedestrian or the operator of any vehicle to disobey the instruction of a traffic control device placed in accordance with the provisions of this title, unless otherwise directed by the authorized officer. That first paragraph. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I'm not.
Read it. I'm going to read it, Officer Parley. So it
Thank
says
you,
it
Your
is
Honor.
unlawful for a pedestrian or the operator of any vehicle to disobey the instructions of a traffic control device placed in accordance with the provisions of this title unless otherwise directed by an authorized officer. That's the first sentence in that code.
I do agree with that, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Now, Miss Officer Parley, can you find me any language in that paragraph, in that first sentence, that gives you the authority or has?
Well, let's see. The fact that she parked in front of a no parking sign, which is a traffic control device, and the fact that she is an authorized officer of parking enforcement to issue citations for violations of traffic control devices such as red lights, parking meters, and signage that states if somebody can park there for a certain amount of time or if they can't park there. Huh. I mean, you made the people's case a slam dunk here.
Any language that refers to parking violations.
No, I cannot, sir, but I also will say that the city of Portland, county of Multnomah, and state of Oregon, that is in a zone that I police. So because of that, I feel I do have the authority.
Are you testifying? Because you sound like
No,
you're testifying instead
sir,
of
you
giving
keep
answers.
asking me questions that I feel like I've answered already. And I feel like you're parsing out, splitting hairs to the 11th degree. I'm not sure where you're going with this. It is a male
Splitting
zone.
hairs. What do
Right,
you mean
so
by
Officer
splitting hairs?
Parley, anytime that he asks a question that you feel has already been answered, you can say asked and answered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. So, what do you mean by splitting hairs?
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Next
Right,
question.
yes, next question.
Judge, are you testifying for the officer?
I'm not testifying. I'm making
Are you the
rulings and
plaintiff?
objections.
Are you the
Next
plaintiff?
question.
She didn't raise the objection. You don't raise the objection, Judge. What do you think you're doing?
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
You're going to violate my constitutional rights.
Hi
on
there,
the due
Mr.
process?
Krivolenko. Actually, I can raise objections, and I just did. So do you have another question, or would you like to move to your side of the story, sir?
Why don't you just stop testifying for the officer? And why don't the officer just keep answering questions instead of giving her statements as testimony? So again, I didn't get
the law, and we're going to follow the procedures in this courtroom.
Right.
You can either accept them, or you can hang up and stop your trial, but we're not going to allow you to control this trial. I'm the one in control here. I'm the one that tells you how it goes, not you. So
You're not.
You have violated the
Respectfully, Judge.
procedures.
Respectfully, Judge, you're
I
not the
have
one who
ruled
violated
already, and you need to move
rights
on.
and due process. All right. Are we moving on? So let's read second paragraph. It is unlawful for any person to refuse to fail to comply with any lawful order, signal, or the direction of any officer displaying the badge with the legal authority to direct, control, regulate traffic. Officer Parley, do you read anything in that code relating to parking?
I enforce it as I'm told to do. That's all I can ask and answer.
Officer Parley, this is a yes or no question. Do you
She answered the question, sir.
She did not answer my question. This is a yes or no question.
I think what would work
Did
best
you
here,
read
Mr.
anything?
Krivolenko, I believe that you're abusing and battering the witness. And so we're
She's
going to
not a
move
witness.
on.
She's my
You
accuser.
can now tell me your side of the story and what your
Yes.
argument is.
She is not a witness. She's my accuser. She's the officer. And badgering my accuser does not fall under the category of a witness. She's not a witness.
Actually, she is a witness. She is giving witness testimony to, one, the fact that she parked in a no parking zone. She took the photos to prove it. She's not your accuser. She is the witness and the officer who is an expert in this field, unlike you. Now, you are badgering, and that is a violation of court decorum and rules, which could lead to a contempt charge if you keep it up.
Krivolenko, would it be okay for you to pause and take a breath? Maybe gather yourself. Maybe we could do the other trial and come back to you.
No, maybe you should
upset.
just start violating my. Maybe you
People
should
make
just
good
stop violating
decisions
my
when they're
rights.
upset. So we're
Right.
going to wait until you can actually listen to me without interrupting me while I'm talking. And then I'm
All
going
right.
to repeat everything I just said to make
You want to
sure.
pause and come back? You want to pause and come back? Do you want to pause and come back, Judge? Or do you want to just dismiss this case because clearly this violation, alleged violation, the statute, the code under which it was written has nothing to do with parking. And this officer Parley has no authority to even issue any citations on federal property.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
And you're sitting here badgering me. You're sitting here accusing me. You're sitting there on your presiding bench and violating my rights and violating my due process. And in fact, right now you're helping the city and helping the Officer Parley, placing her in the position of a defendant. Are you kidding me? She's my accuser. She's the officer. So I think, Judge, you better
When you're done, Mr. Kukolenko, and I'll have my say.
let me put it to you really clearly, Judge. Judicial misconduct carries consequences, and there are remedies. There are remedies to remedy judicial misconduct. So please, please, don't think that I'm one of those defendants that is going to sit and take this nonsense from you.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Understand? So if you want to pause, that's up to you. Right now, I'm moving you, the court, to immediately dismiss this case on the issues and grounds and defenses that I have just raised. This code has nothing to do with parking, and Ms. Parley has no authority to issue parking citations on federal property. Period. I move to dismiss this case.
All right, Mr. Krivolenko, did you have any other arguments or defenses before I rule?
I'm done.
Excellent. Your motion is denied. I find that the officer validly issued the ticket and the fine is $55. Your
Great.
trial is done and you're free to disconnect.
I will move for appeal.
Good. I think you should.
I will.
All right, Ms. Lynn, are you ready for your trial?
And we're going to end it here, folks. What have we learned from today's video? Well, the fact that the Siberian douche canoe here is dumber than a box of rocks and does not understand the difference between federal, public, and private property. Just because something is owned by the federal government doesn't make it automatically that everything around it becomes federal property as well. He's willing to piss away his money over a $55 ticket and appeal this and spend more money? Well, more power to you, stupid. So if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. And if you can, please consider becoming a member. And a special thank you to all members of the news team. Without your guys' continuous, ongoing support, I couldn't keep the channel going, so I thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart.